Hello everybody and welcome back to the Home Woodshop. Today we're going to hop right into and it should be a lot of fun, so stick around and we'll do lots and lots of planing. See if we can't flatten out these boards a little bit. I'm going across in diagonals so that way it stays moderately square. If you just go straight up and down the edges, the plane tends to bump and you kind of get waves in the wood, and when you hit things like knots it creates little bumps and ridges and you end up with a lot of high spots and low spots. So if you go diagonally, it tends to clear most of that out and keep it roughly square. But at this point, we're just taking off the top layer so that all the boards are actually just flat with each other. Because at the moment, when we glued them, they were really rough. And there was a whole lot of bumping. So we're kind of prototyping the edges just to see how well the plane works. It's a brand new one, I've almost never used it before. Getting it squared up and pretty much figuring out how it cuts, since on some of the boards it's grabbing, on some of them it works great on. And it takes different amounts of force to get different pieces and different parts, and all of it's a little wobbly, so with all the new tools and the new techniques, it's proving a little interesting in planing it. And it's nighttime, so I came back after dinner and we're continuing on the planing. Should be a lot of fun. It was wiggling a ton while it was on the table saw, so I actually clamped it down just because it kept it more square. It didn't quite fight as much, because earlier it was just trying to rotate on me and was doing a whole lot of sliding. But while we wait for the third section to dry, we're working on the flattening, because might as well. Can do two things at once. At this point, all the shavings are really short, really rough. They're not those really long, nice curls that you want, just because it's cutting 2 inches, hitting a big air gap, and it won't keep going. Even when you hit the glue, it doesn't tend to roll, even if it's continuous, so the glue will snap and you'll get these really short, maybe 3-inch shavings. But nice little sliver there. That one's gonna stick around for a while. A little bit of plane adjustments, squaring it up, seeing how it cuts, a couple more adjustments, seeing how it cuts, and adjust again, and see how it cuts. So at this point I'm kind of trying different depths, trying different angles, figuring out how to really get the most out of my cut, but I also need to keep it even. Couple more adjustments. Alright, back to the grind. A lot of back and forth and a little more back, and then we go forth. keep stopping on some of the high spots if they're just really high. But then I shifted over and did those high spots then. And then went all the way back over and kept leveling out the entire thing. At this point it's kind of left to right, or from your view, right to left. So I did a whole lot of work on the right side, and you can kind of see in the different colors, but all the bits that I've taken off on the right side, they're a lot more even, color shifting, and it works a lot better. The plane's grabbing less. And then as I go further left, I realize how uneven the boards are, and I want to go back to the right. But going all the way completely deep is leveling the entire thing pretty much on that diagonal. I think I'm using roughly 30 degrees left and then 30 degrees right, but it's proving very, very useful. It keeps everything quite straight. That one was just super high. Yep, still going on it. If you watch the color changes, it's only that board that's changing color. Lots and lots and lots of back and forth, a couple of plane adjustments again. See if you can't get it to cut just a little better. Maybe try a deeper cut, maybe try a little less, see where it's better. So after that pass, it's actually starting to grab the other pieces, or the other boards next to it. So it's getting a lot flatter. The high spot's not nearly as prominent. So many shavings. So the reason I'm kind of off to the right so much is because when I go over to the left, it has the torque around the clamps, which made it kind of start to want to fall over, and that's not usually a good thing. Tends to make it a little harder to keep it on the table saw when it's trying to rotate off onto the ground. There's also a whole bunch of boards being glued over there. Those little guys that are drawing make it really hard to stay in there. And then jumping through the pipe clamps and everything. Lots and lots of back and forth. And the little corner. So this plane's a push plane, and I'm actually thinking that I like the Japanese style pull planes more, so I'm going to see if I can get one of those, but they're really hard to find in America unless you go with a really expensive Japanese plane. So I might either have a blacksmith custom make one, or I might very well just end up having to splurge.